What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So in this video we're going to be finishing up the bulk of the actual LED taillights. I'll be showing you guys exactly how I went ahead and made my little outline tracers. We'll get right into it. This is what I'm talking about. Hopefully you guys think this is pretty sweet. I always wanted to do outline taillights and have them actually be this bright. They look brighter on camera than they are, but they're super bright. So once this goes on, you really can't tell that there's individual LEDs, so it really obscures that. It's pretty good. This makes it a bit weird, this little section here, but from the side it looks really good. From here you can tell there's kind of like a little weird thing going on the side, but it's okay. It still looks really good. I'm pumped how it's turning out. So the only thing I have left to do is this piece here that I'm making. So essentially I bought a strip, also from Aesthetic. I put their link in the description in the last video. I'll do it in this one too. But I got this little LED roll here, and basically there's a bunch of little LEDs on here, and they already have the resistors integrated, so they're really pretty simple. And all you do is cut and solder these little pieces here, so you can cut them at any point and solder some lines onto them so that you can continue this little strip. So that's what I did here. And what I did was, I may have showed you guys the plexiglass pieces that I was working with before. But basically, these guys right here are just plexiglass that I cut into these strips, and then I glued them together just with hot glue, and then I ended up putting them on the back. I glued them to the back, and then I used aluminum tape to go around them and to reflect all the light forward and keep it from getting lost in the inside of this taillight here. So really, there's no light in here, which is nice. It keeps it nice and defined. As long as we can keep this nice and close and up front in this lens here, it should be pretty bright. So that's the goal. I gotta make, like I said, this one I'm still soldering it, and then I'll glue it to the back side of this to go in here, and then those guys will light up. You can see it fits just like this. So I'll be putting it on the back side of the plexiglass, and the plexiglass is sanded, so it does kind of diffuse and obscure the light a little bit, so it helps to make it not look like individual LEDs, but you guys probably can't. Here you go. So now if you look really close, you can see they're individual, and they do look like that in person, but the camera has a tough time with it, so it ends up blending it, which it makes it look really cool. That's how I intended, but it's still going to look really cool behind here and not actually do too much muting of the light, because I still want it to be nice and bright. But I don't think we'll have problems with that. These are nice and bright. So I'm going to go ahead and solder the rest of these on. These can be tricky, but I'm going to keep working at it, and we'll get this done tonight. And then we're going to work on the reverse light here on the other side, and just pick away at this until I get it all done, and I'll show you guys a little update once I get this all fired up. And this one, it kind of fades out a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that with a little bit of my aluminum tape here. This is nice stuff, and we will make it even better. But this is what I envisioned. This is what I wanted, a nice square here, and then like the open-ended one here. This is still got to come up a little bit. It's got to be glued. I'll worry about that afterwards. I'm going to try to get everything installed. I got to get my wires run and get everything finalized. I still want to paint the insides of these housings, and I have to make sure that I catch the other one up to speed here. So I got a lot of work to do still, but I'm just going to keep plugging away at it, try to get these things done. People are asking me just like crazy to build them a set or to make them a kit or do something, and I would like to. It's certainly a lot of work. And if I were to do that, that would have to be like a side business of mine that I did, and it would be like, it's taking me a long time to do mine, and I would struggle to find a way to streamline it. It's just a lot of tedious work, and I could sell it all in a kit, or you guys could just buy it from Aesthetic like I did and do it with my guide, essentially, because it's really not that difficult. I mean, you have to have access to soldering irons and things like that, but just for the amount of effort that I would have to put into it, I would charge a good amount of money, because this, for me, I like doing it for myself, but for somebody else, it's certainly a lot of work. I would probably have to charge upwards of $4 to $5, at least maybe $500 for a set of these lights, I think. And I don't know if that even includes like the price of the lights at the junkyard, and then what if I break a lens or scuff something, and I don't feel right shipping that set of lights out. It just seems like it's a huge undertaking for me, and I would have to really put a lot of effort into it and make it like almost a full-time thing or a part-time thing just to do it on a side business along with all the other videos that I make and and cars that I'm trying to work on, and people's cars that I work on the side. I just don't have time, unfortunately, to sit around and solder LEDs. If that was my main gig, then I would definitely do it and I would make them for you guys. But this is like a for me thing. If you guys want to do them, you certainly can. But if I change my mind in the future, I'll be the first to let you guys know if I'm gonna build these things for you. But as of right now, it's so time consuming, and unless I had somebody making them that I could pay them labor, and then the price of lights would have to go up even more. But this is a lot of work, guys. I mean, it's something you should take on yourself. Even if you get a spare set of lights at the junkyard, what could possibly go wrong? Just mess around with it. It's really not that bad. If you follow my guide and the guide on Lumisthetic, and it's helpful to learn about electronics. It really is very important, and it's very good to know how to do this stuff, especially if you're working on cars. Electronics is everything. That's where we're all headed nowadays. Pretty soon, gas engines are going to be gone, but we're going to try to enjoy them while we got them. But anyway, it's kind of a side tangent, but I like these lights. They look pretty sweet. I'm going to go blind looking at them. Anyway, moving on now. I'll give you guys another update when I get a little further. So I just finished soldering this here strip. I ended up hooking up, positive to positive, negative to negative with all these little teeny wires here. Something that was made a lot easier with what I just got here. I got this tip tinner, which is something you put your soldering iron in, and it sort of puts like a layer of tin on the tip itself, and it helps the solder to melt in really well, and it makes soldering way easier. I did get some new solder here because I was running out, so I got new solder and tip tinner, and it's making for a much better soldering experience. I can't wait to do the rest of the build with all these proper tools now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy glued on, which is how I've been doing it. I just glue it to the back here with a hot glue gun, and then I go ahead and put the aluminum tape around it, and then I've had pretty good luck with it. It's pretty stable after that. Don't really have any issues. So I'm gonna build this one just like I did with the other one here, and we should have a setup unit that we can drop in the slot. And yeah, these things are pretty sweet. The aluminum helps, like I said, to reflect it back in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the next one done, and then all I have to do is build the reverse light for this side and add a few more LEDs on here, and then we're pretty much all set here with these lights. I can go ahead and start maybe painting the insides of the housings and thinking about what I'm going to do with this. I was thinking about maybe color matching this, but that'll be quite a task, so that would be something that I definitely would have to get started on. So I'm going to think about what I'm going to do with all this stuff, and yeah, I'll get back to you guys on what it's going to be. So I'm back at it here, and my next step here is to do the third brake light. And I think I also want to do the markers in the back too, and then I'll have everything in the rear totally done, and I can be, all set back there. Headlights we'll do at a later date. But yeah, so this is the third brake light. I went ahead and separated the lens off of it. So this lens actually just clips on here. I was really careful not to break anything, and it came off good. You can see where it's all damaged from the sun in the center there, but it's not damaged everywhere else. So I know where it is visible here through this hole, because the hole is much smaller than the lens. So what I did was I went ahead and made a plexiglass insert like I have been doing. So I have this guy to put in. He fits in there nicely. So now that this fits in here, I'm going to take a grinder of some sort, cut this center section out. That way I'll have room for my LEDs, but I'm going to leave tabs on the top and bottom to hold this in place. So I should be able to just litter this guy with LEDs. I'm going to try to put them really close and make this really bright. I'm going to pack as many as I can into here to have a really nice bright third brake light, and we'll see how many we can pack in here reasonably. It's going to be pretty dense, but I think I'm ready to try to stack them. I've been doing pretty good with everything else. Here's my whole pile of practice, so we should be able to get them nice and close and see if they work nicely. So I'm going to keep you guys up to date. I'll show you what I end up doing with this, maybe the side markers too, and then got some other plans for this stuff. But I know this project's taking forever, but I just really want to do it right, and I got other stuff going on too, so I'm trying to work on other stuff, for the truck and the other project as well. So I'm getting a lot of knowledge on the internet right now, so I'm spending a lot of time doing research and stuff like that. But I'm only one person. I will get these done eventually, and I'll get them all wired up nicely. I got plans to make all the wiring really seamless, and everything's just going to be nice plug and play. So I'm pretty stoked on how everything's coming out. I have the rings all done now. All 4 rings are all set, as well as all of these. So just the third brake light and maybe the marker lights. I'll go get those in a little bit and try to design something for this stuff. Yow! So I did make a quick little third brake light here. Let's see if I can just show you guys really quick before the GoPro dies on me. Nice third brake light here. It's going to look pretty sweet. So that's that. I'm going to move on to the side markers now. Alright, so next up on the never-ending taillight build, we're going to paint the insides here. So I got a little bit of taping that I want to do just to make sure that this is all taped off. I only really scuffed the parts that I care about, not this section here. I don't know if I'm going to tape this off. I guess I probably should. I should have had this ready because it's going to get dark soon. But yeah, I'm going to try to do a quick tape job on the important parts on these, and just go ahead and go outside and hit them with a little adhesion promoter, and then just some rattle can flat black, just so that I don't want any glare or anything from this, or messing up any of the LEDs that I've placed in there. And I just want them solid color. So I'm going to do that, and then just in case maybe one day we do get clear lenses. Not that I will. I don't know that I want them. Some people have asked me if I'm going to get clear lenses, and I don't think I'm going to, just because it's not my favorite look. I personally like the either candied or tinted, or just the stock ones. I'm not really I think they look good on some cars, just I'm not a fan of them personally for my vehicle. Maybe on a different car, maybe on a white car I would like them, but anyway, that's just me. Everybody's got a different style, and this is what I'm going with for now, because they're cheap too, because I don't maybe I don't like them because they're expensive. But those are always the nice things everybody wants, the pricey stuff. So I'm all about cheap. So we're gonna try to spray paint this stuff on the cheap, and I'm gonna try to, I was thinking about fixing this too. I'm gonna go into detail here on this, and maybe use a little bit of I have some plastic filler stuff. I might put that here, and then just sand these guys, and I might just paint them black, I think, just to give it a little bit of an accent, maybe like gloss, like the trim. So I've been thinking about hitting these as well. So once I paint the inside, I'm going to have to get them taped off the other way and paint this right here, and we'll see if we can make this look nice. But yeah, that's the future there. So I'm going to go ahead and tape these up and get them outside and get some paint on them. So I've got all the lights out here on my little bench. I taped everything up. I got all the outsides taped off so that you can't get any paint where we don't want. And everything is scuffed on the inside and cleaned up with a little bit of degreaser. It's just wax and grease remover actually. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit everything with adhesion promoter first since we have some bare plastic. And then I'll go follow it up with just a little bit of paint. So just not looking for stellar results on this, just a little bit of something just so that we don't see any of this silver through the lenses. That's the goal. So I don't recommend painting when it's super windy and like barely even, it's like 55 degrees out here. But that being said, it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if you guys can hear the wind because I got a dead cat on the mic, as you can see in the shadow there. But it came out pretty decent. I'm happy with it. Like I said, you're not going to really see it. It's just in case you see through, you don't see any silver. Mainly for these bars here and anything that's just slightly inset there on where everything's going to sit, because most of this is covered up in the back. But I just shot the hole inside just because I think it'll look much better and it just pleases my eye, not that much extra paint. So everything looks pretty good. I'm going to let this dry out here for a while and I'll bring it in and then should start final assembly here. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do the wire routing. I think I'm just going to route it out the factory holes and not even worry about sealing it, because these are actually internal to the vehicle, so as long as the trunk doesn't leak and the seal doesn't leak, shouldn't have a problem with leakage. So I'm not going to worry about sealing it, and that way it'll have a vent too. If water does enter, it can escape. So I'm just going to leave it like that. If we have any problems, I could always find some kind of grommet that fits there, but I'll save that for later. So I'm going to go ahead and try to wire these with the stock plug and everything, and I'll make it nice and shrink wrap and all that stuff, so it should be pretty nice in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these downstairs probably later. I don't know if I'll do the final assembly tonight. I might go show you guys the next thing I got cooking up. And I decided I would do the side markers too, because why not? So I couldn't really get it apart, so I gave up rather soon. I didn't really try that hard. Maybe I could have heated it more and pried it apart. But the glue, it seems like they actually melted this piece of the lens to this. So I'm not really sure how that works, but I don't really want to mess with that. So I just took my Dremel with a little cutoff wheel and I actually cut it apart. So I'll show you guys what it looks like first. So that's the plan, that's the design. It's not really too bright. It doesn't blind you until you're like looking at it from the top where it's not diffused. But since it's diffused and it's a little ways away, it's not actually too bad. So I think it might be okay. Might be okay with a little bit of dim too. But if I take this off, you guys can see exactly what I got going on. I just got two little strips here. So that came out pretty good, and I'm going to do that for the other one too. And all I did was just cut it out with the Dremel. So some of you guys might shriek at that, but really not a big deal. Just the thickness of one of these Dremel wheels all the way around, so it doesn't really make too big of a difference. I should just be able to use whatever glue I use, just put a little bead around the edge, squish them together and let it dry, and then this thing is held together with this screw anyway, so once I screw it in, it should be held together. It's not like I'm going to lose the lens off of it or anything like that. It shouldn't really come apart, and I shouldn't really need to take it out. So yeah, should be all set on that. But that's just what I'm doing for these guys. Pretty simple setup here. You can see I got the just the ends connected, and I got this side powered and looped, and then the wires run just out the back. I don't know what I'm going to do for waterproofing on this just yet. I do think that I might try to figure out a solution. Maybe I'll tie this into the factory bulb socket or something like that and then plug it in. I'm not really sure how I want to do this yet because this does need to be waterproof. It's in the wheel well and water may get in there. Not likely because I'm going to try to keep the wheel liners, but I'd like to keep the water out if I can. I don't know about, yeah, this hole's for the screw, so otherwise there's no water getting in here, so we want to keep the water out. So this video is probably getting pretty long at this point. I think I'm going to cap that off right there, but I will show you guys. This is the merch. If you guys want to go check out the merchandise, I always put links in the description of every video, but this is one of many that you can get. I realize there are some colors on there that don't work. The text is always black. Just be smart about what colors you order, because I had some people order some that were like black on black, and you really can't see the text. So just keep that in mind if you're ordering. I do need to make new designs, and I'm going to try to get on that pretty soon. Hopefully you guys like the new intro. I'm going to start using that at the beginning of these videos. I want to try to step it up a little more. The channel's growing, and I want to try to be true to you guys and give you guys what you deserve. So stickers got to be on the way. I got to figure out a way to do that. If anybody has any ideas or advice, maybe let me know. Let me know what you guys would want for a sticker. But I was just thinking either like a sticker of the car, and I'm kind of waiting on the new look for this year. I ordered wheels. I'm not going to say what they are, but I did order them, and they're coming. They haven't shipped yet, but I'll let you guys know when they do. They're not back ordered, so they shouldn't really take too long. So hopefully a couple weeks here, we should have wheels, and then I'll be ordering tires shortly after. So cars should be up and running. I would hope maybe within a month, or at worst case maybe a month and a half or two. So I'm really banking on it. It could be sooner too. So hopefully that is to happen very soon. Should pick some of these up. I think they're pretty cool looking shirts, and it definitely helps me out too. Helps out the channel and helps us do cool taillight stuff like this. And I got other projects I'm starting too, but always got plans for the Honda. Got tons of things that I want to do to it still, but it may need to just be a daily for a little while, and I'm just going to enjoy the car. I spent a lot of time building this car, and I haven't really spent that much time driving it, so it seems like it's always all apart. So I think if the only true way for me to enjoy it and drive it every day is if I start working on the other car. So that's what I'm about to do, and that'll lead to just me enjoying the car and hopefully doing some more driving videos and taking it out. And I would like to take it to some shows and some stuff like that. I think it's pretty much ready. So got a few tweaks here and there, but yeah, it's almost ready for its big debut and reveal. So stick with me, and the car will be done soon. Or never, that's just how it is though. So appreciate you guys watching, and check out the merch. Become a Patreon if you really would care to. You only have to do $1 maybe. I have a couple of $1 guys there, $1 a month, which it helps. Every little bit helps, and we're growing faster than I could have imagined. So I just want to take the time to thank everybody and just show my appreciation for all the love that you guys show, and everybody commenting on every video. You guys are always there, so it's awesome to see that you guys are there. So I appreciate it, and thanks for watching, everybody. This long rant here, if you made it all the way to the end, you're definitely a true fan. So peace, guys.